What's going on, moms and dads? My name is Dr. John Caruso. I am a pediatric family wellness chiropractor in Katy, Texas. In this video, I want to educate you, inform you, and give you the information and resources on what to really look for when choosing your child's doctor. And so if you are tired of your child's doctor not listening to your concerns and questions, dismissing things left and right, turning to drugs and medications way too easily, and really not even trying to find the absolute root cause of your child's health challenges, then here in 2024, moms and dads, it may just be time to find a new doctor for your family here into the new year. You know, most families still today, honestly, have just chosen their pediatrician and family doctor by default. You know, we start with who our insurance company covers, who shows up at the hospital when our beautiful little babies are born, or maybe even just who, we saw as a child if they are still in practice. And so, it's interesting that parents of today are really waking up and realizing a very important truth. And it's that you have a choice when it comes to the healthcare of your family and your child. And you have a choice when choosing a doctor, both for your family and for your child. This is something that I hear quite often every single week in practice with new patients and new families and new kiddos coming in. It's like, one, I didn't even know that this was an option as far as building health and wellness within our kids and within our families. But also one thing that I've noticed, because I do see a lot of kids on the spectrum with seizures, with ADD, ADHD, behavioral learning, speech challenges, etc. And the one thing that I hear from parents over and over and over again is, in a lot of ways, they're more educated and are doing more research about their kid, about their diagnosis, about their struggle than their provider is, than their pediatrician is, than their general practitioner is. And so these parents are coming into their doctor's offices with lots of really cool questions and seeking lots of really phenomenal answers, only to then just get brushed to the side and dismissed of like, oh, there's no research to support that. Oh, that's not necessarily going to work. And ultimately it leaves parents confused and lost and continuing to find answers and ultimately losing hope and not believing that there's any help for their kids to begin with. But I really want to go into a lot of the cool changes that I've seen over the past couple of years in practice, and recent research and just overall societal trends show us that parents today are now more than ever switching to a natural or holistic healthcare and natural and holistic doctors, and leaving their conventional pediatrician and medications as an absolute last resort. Even if you've tried all sorts of natural health and holistic options, there is one more hidden in plain sight secret about what kind of doctor you really may be searching for in order to get your family healthier, stronger, more resilient than really ever before. And it's one that focuses in on the nervous system, and one that really gets down to finding the root cause. So whenever we are trying to find or look for a new doctor, some of the things that you might want to really trying to explore and find is that a doctor who truly listens. This is one of the biggest things for me within my practice, but this is the one thing that I tell parents of, like, if your provider is not listening to you and not actually giving thoughtful information or answers to the questions that you have, you may need to find somebody, because they work for you. And so one of the most important things that I want parents and that are coming into the office with their kids is that you want your child's doctor to simply just listen to your concerns, answer your questions with empathy and actual thoughtful answers. And the most important piece of that is being able to work alongside parents and other providers to achieve the best health outcome for the child. And unfortunately today, most pediatricians work for a massive medical system that gives them very little ability to do any of that. And so instead, most parents, at least from what I hear in my office, is that most parents feel like their child's doctor is more of a dictator than they are in a partner within their family's health. And so it's wildly important for you to have a doctor that listens and partners with parents and other providers. The second thing that I always tell parents and give to parents is that when you're looking for a doctor, you really need to find someone that goes after the real root cause. And so one of the main things that a conventional pediatrician does not always love when talking with parents is, really exploring more natural or holistic approaches. And then, those that seek to address the root cause instead of merely stuffing down symptoms with drugs and medications. And this is really where doctors of chiropractic come in, as everything from our philosophy to our clinical and scientific approach is 100% designed to do just that. Find and address the root cause. The third point that I always tell parents is that when you're looking for a new provider or a new doctor, something that you need to really take into account is that they need to really be after finding the root cause. And they've got to be able to address the nervous system. And so, awesomely, in today's world, more and more parents are well aware of how important things like gut health, our microbiome, and living a toxic-free, dye-free, less sugar, gluten-free, dairy-free, low inflammatory, healthy lifestyle is. And it's phenomenal that more parents are shifting that way. And even now, more and more parents every single year are feeding their children real organic foods, utilizing vitamins and supplementation, essential oils, prioritizing time in nature and out in the sun, staying fit and active, and really just making a switch back to a more healthy and natural lifestyle. And it's phenomenal. When I first got into practice, talking about things like homeopathy or essential oils or any of the more natural woo-woo type stuff wasn't really talked about very often, unfortunately. But now it's more of a commonplace of parents are trying to choose those things first because they realize that the medications, the antibiotics, or the answers that they're getting from their traditional or conventional doctor just simply isn't cutting the mustard. But point number 4 that I always really love to share with parents, I touched on it back up top, is really that it's the collaboration and teamwork part of it. So your provider really needs to talk with the other providers. When we start talking about these kids with ADHD or autism or seizures or medically complex or neurologically complex cases, they typically have a lot of cooks in the kitchen, so to speak. There's a lot of providers. There's a gastroenterologist and a neurologist and a pulmonologist and a cardiologist, and there's all these people. And then there's the more modality-based things like PT and speech and OT and ABA sometimes. But the one thing that I always share with parents is that you will never find an office or a doctor who loves to collaborate and partner with parents and other providers quite as much as I do, because we need to be able to create these really big bonds and these really great connections within the community simply to be able to get our kids further, farther, faster. And so working in partnerships with moms and dads, PTs, OTs, speech therapists, holistic pediatricians, nurse practitioners, other professionals to ensure optimal results is something that is a very big deal to me and something that I actively pursue with every patient. So whether it's an OT, a PT, a speech therapist, sometimes they're a neurologist or pediatrician, I make an effort to be able to connect with them and be like, hey, this is what I'm seeing. This is what we're working on. This is what I do, because most of these providers don't know what we do as chiropractors. But making sure that they are also an active participant within this whole process. So that way they know exactly what's going on, what's changing, what's progressing, and ultimately how much these kids are thriving when we start addressing the nervous system and the root cause. And so parents, we know that now more than ever is that you want a doctor who listens to you, to your questions, your concerns, educates you, because that's a big part of it, rather than dictates, and then empowers you every single step of the way, and gets all the way down to the real root cause of your child's health challenges by diving deep into the function and the balance of the nervous system. So If that is the new kind of doctor that you're looking for within this new year, then our team at Haven Family Chiropractic is the absolute perfect fit for you, your family, and your child. Head to our website, learn more about our practice, our clinical process and approach, and a lot more. You can also comment below and send us a DM with any questions that you may have.